Big Ten Nation, what's going on? Ken, the super cool Spartan, back at ya. My brother Brian, the super duper mad Spartan, coming at ya. Big Ten talk, MSU preview versus UCLA. We got it going on. Coming off of our very hateful Sparty podcast here. It was quite flame throwing. You can catch that now on all of our streaming platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. And it was pretty heated. So just giving you a warning. But we're moving on. Big Ten talk, our preview of UCLA homecoming game coming up here. So, hey, let's get to it. So, MSU football, 3-2 overall, 0-2 in the Big Ten. Coming off that very, 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 very extremely disappointing loss at Nebraska. Now we're looking at our wounds, carrying on to those Bruins back home. As I mentioned before, it's homecoming weekend. And this is the only game that MSU is favored to win for the rest of the season. They're 7.5 point favorites over with UCLA, even though UCLA pulled up probably the biggest upset so far in college football this season against Penn State. So they're still road underdogs against the Spartans. So what are your overall thoughts there, Super Mad Spartan, about this upcoming matchup here?
Unfortunately, it just feels like another referendum game for this coaching staff. It feels like since Boston College has been like, man, it's a big game. Like, we have such low expectations at Michigan State right now.
Very low.
We're
Very
just
low.
hoping to go 6-6 just to make a bowl game. And this is a game that we, circled like, hey, we should win this game. Then at the beginning of the year, we saw you say, looks like, okay, yeah, we definitely should win this game. Now they beat Penn State and just coming off a bad loss to Nebraska. It's just another toss-up game. It just feels like we should win. I'm glad we're favored, but what UCLA team is going to show up? Which Michigan State team is going to show up? Is it going to not which Michigan team? What not which Michigan State team? Which part of Michigan State team is going to show up? Are we going to have a day where the offense looks good? Are we going to have a day where the defense looks good? Are we going to have a day where special teams looks confident? All three at the same time together, unheard of in Michigan State football right now. So it's just, I said the last podcast. I really don't think this coaching staff is the one to get it turned around. I'm still rooting for him, hoping I'm in the hope phase. Just in my brain, like says, no, this is not it. And my heart is like, please let this be it. Let this be a turnaround game. Let us see, something make us feel good just for a little while. UCLA should be victory.
Just for a little while.
No, because all right, beat UCLA. Do we have Indiana? Probably gonna get dog walked. That's what it feels like. Then, all right, you look at your wounds, come back from Bloomington. Oh, when you got Big Blue coming in to our stadium, looking to put it on us. They've been talking smack in the summertime, how they're gonna spank us, and now it looks like we're gonna be in line for that spanking. So the two games after this don't seem very winnable. When you're talking about winnable games, okay, this is like, as you pointed out, the only game we're favored in. And it seems like the only game I have the most amount of confidence, which is about 45% confidence for winning this game. That's as high as I can muster. But that's not really high. That's not like, oh man, this is it. So that's how I'm feeling coming into the game.
Yeah, it is a question of which MSU team the sum of its parts or the entire team's going to show up. And I'll add which coaching staff is going to show up too. I mean, is it going to be the coaching staff that look like the non-conference to an extent? You know, the one that had that thrilling victory over Boston College in double overtime? Or is it going to be the one that led Nebraska last week? Which coordinators are going to show up? Will both coordinators show up, or just the OC, or just the DC? I mean, I never seen a team where you can just literally just shoot dice and bet on which part of the the team and the coaching staff is going to show up. We're going to crap out on the defense, but the offense shows up, or the special team is going to have their football follies, or will the offense not have those ridiculous bombing plays down the field and, you know, play to the strength
Well, the
of
bombing
the
plays weren't
offense?
terrible.
And
They weren't bad plays. Just that okay, you have to understand what's going on outside. If it's 30-mile-per-hour winds, maybe you should be trying to throw the ball 50 yards on the field. But yeah, still mixed bag. That's Michigan State. It's a mixed bag. You never know. Everything's it's like you're playing Mario Kart and you hit the mystery box. You don't know what you're gonna get.
oh yeah, that's one of my favorite
So
games too on on Nintendo, Mario Kart.
so we're just down bad.
Yep. Prayers up. We're gonna need them.
And UCLA, the reason the biggest reason they give me pause is all right. The defense has had two good games out of the five we played so far, right? You know, Western and Nebraska. You know, Nebraska's not their offense. I think they have better statistics than their offense really is good. So that's that. With UCLA, you know, they got that quarterback. Was it Imavalev? I'm sorry for mispronouncing his name. You
Yep.
know, he was a
Miko.
big time player for Tennessee, and he hadn't been having like the greatest of year. But you know, last week versus Penn State, he kind of put that team on his back, and they scored a bunch of touchdowns. I know Penn State's coming off the hangover loss from Oregon, but Penn State usually has a pretty dominant defense, better than ours has been in a while. So that's
Yeah.
what the biggest scary part right now. Okay, if our defense doesn't show up, that guy can kill us. And our offense, while improved, it still has its inconsistencies. You know, we give away first and second downs, run plays, tackles for a loss. We probably traded on like 70 tackles for a loss already in 5 games. I was like, oh my goodness.
yeah. Yeah. Looks like the sun is setting on MSU football, and we're only talking. It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Talking about the sun is already setting.
My only hope is that it is tough to travel cross country. Excuse me. So, UCLA does have to come from the West Coast to the East Coast. 9 a.m. game for them. So maybe they kept sleeping. Maybe they keep their bodies and their good game back in California, and they just get off the bus and get sacrificed to Michigan State for homecoming. I hope that's what happens, but they might be galvanized. They got rid of their coach. They got a win under their belt. They look like a competent football team. I mean, Penn State came back a little bit, but UCLA put them away. So it's
yeah.
going to be imperative for Michigan State to come out and jump on them early and let them and try to remind them like, nah, y'all not good if we're capable of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're about to find out. This is one of the rare games too that it's at noon, because
Jonathan
MSU
Smith's
hasn't
first
had a
noon
noon
game at
game.
Michigan State.
Yeah, yeah, which is pretty amazing to know that. I mean, as bad as MSU has been, they've primarily had late afternoon games and night games. So this is
Well, I think
rare that this is
this is
an afternoon game or early afternoon game at that. Like like you said, 12
I think it's
o'clock.
just this my conspiracy. You know, just because Michigan State's bad at football doesn't mean that our fan base still going to watch. And so when you put them in you put State in those time frames where there's not another good game on, where like, hey, well, those Spartan fans are going to, the eyeballs are going to be there. So the ratings are always decent enough for Michigan State. Now we haven't been good in a long time, but I think that's just how I kind of think about it. Because
No, that's a
with
good
Fox
point.
owning TV rights, they are trying to make the Big Ten noon a thing. So usually the biggest game in the Big Ten is going to be that noon game, and we ain't the
Right.
big draw in the Big Ten. So as we don't get
No,
noon
I think the
games,
noon game, I
I'd
think the
assume this
Big
game is
Ten
not on
noon
Fox. It's
game,
probably like on what FS1 or something.
yeah, maybe Big Ten Network. Might be a Big Ten Network game.
There it is,
But
the
yeah, I
low
think the
spot
big
of the Big Ten. 12 p.m. noon, Big Ten Network. Nobody cares.
I think the big noon game on Fox will be Indiana and Oregon. I think that got that time slot.
Oh, for sure. Let me check to see when that game actually is.
And full disclosure, I'm not really a fan of the Big Ten. I mean, the big noon games on Fox.
I don't know. It's Indiana and Oregon is a 3:30 CBS game.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I'm shocked.
I guess CBS must outbid them for that one. No, and to your point,
Yeah, they must
I
have.
can't stand Big Ten Noon. It's horrible programming.
Yeah.
Of all the bad pregame programming that is out there, which I don't watch any of them, it's one of the worst.
Yeah, it's very undesirable and yeah, when they have Joel Klatt, and I know we're kind of giving enough script here, but Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson, like, oh boy. Mm-mm.
All right, so we'll go off tangent. Those two are I cannot stand them doing an Ohio State game or a Michigan game because you can just tell they're in the booth and they can't stand up because they're too erect talking about the teams. Like, oh, Ohio State, look at them. And then Gus Johnson, big blue. Oh, like man, I usually put them on mute. I can't stand it. It's like, can you be a little bit more professional, guys? Like,
uh,
keep it in your pants. Tuck that thing away. But topic. Oh no.
oh.
But yeah, back to UCLA and Michigan State. It's it's hard to even do analysis for the game
Right.
because you gotta look at what does Michigan State do well? Sometimes they're good at punting. We were good at punting until last game, unclear now. We
Right.
couldn't get to the quarterback. Well, maybe Nebraska's porous offensive line helped us out. Damn near doubled our sacks for the whole year in one game. The defense, one thing I like, there were some adjustments with our defense. They play a lot more man coverage. They tried to be more aggressive. And maybe they feel like, well, they could be aggressive with Nebraska. They didn't really get burned a whole lot. The defense basically bailed the offense out most of the game until they gave up some big plays and we lost. But
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather the defense try to be aggressive than to sit back and let teams dictate what they're going to do. Oh, you're going to give us that same 5 yard out. We're going to 5 yard out to the death. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, if the team is going to score, whether it be a big play or a long drive, either each one hurts in different ways. If you let them
Yep.
march down the field, they have an 8-minute drive. Well, then that keeps our offense off the field too.
Right.
At least if they're gonna let them score, they score quick. Well, at least maybe our offense get the ball back and can do something with it. But I will give credit for Rossi for 1 week that they looked better. The operation looked better.
Right.
Not good, but better.
It went from a
You
E
could
to a
play. How about
C.
this? You could play winning. You could have winning football with that defense that showed up last week. If that's going to be the remainder of the year, you can win with that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, offensive line and some of the coaching decisions, the one that still scratches my head, and I hope and I pray with the offensive line, you can't have 66 out there at right tackle anymore. Not starting, not majority of the
No.
reps. It cannot
Mm-mm.
happen. I don't know what they're seeing in practice, but we're seeing it in the games for over 2 years. Cannot happen. I'd rather you keep Connor Moore at the right tackle and then let you think Rustin Young at left tackle and they just roll with it. If since Ramil is out, let's go with the youth package.
Yeah.
Someone
You got
described
nothing
on
to
the
lose. About to do
message
it.
board. Someone described on the message board. You already take. You have a strength in right tackle. He's not as good as at left tackle. So you take a strength at left tackle and weaken the left side, and you take the right tackle and you put someone who we know is not been playing well there, and make it weaker. So the end, you just have weaker offensive line. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the most weirdest coaching decisions we've seen coming off a bye week. You know, practice can look good all it want to. We're in the game. We see it.
Right.
When your
Eye
quarterback gets kill
test.
shotted, has to come off the field, and the guy goes, and that's like the third time in that same drive. Maybe he should sit.
Right. He's like, what happened? What happened? Like,
With the Home Alone face. Oh. And I
I
don't know if
know,
you listened to the
Kevin.
offensive coordinator, Lindgren. He did a interview, and he admitted said, Childs lost confidence in some of the people around him, and it showed, in how he played. Well, yeah, when you get and the people are talking about is he concussed or not, I would lose confidence too and have a little shaky feet.
Yeah, like
So
we put it on the last
we'll see
podcast,
what the
the
coaching decision
Sparty
is there.
pod. Yeah, we put it on the Sparty pod when you have your best offensive players arguing on the sideline, Charles and Marsh. That right there should tell you something as the OC. Like, okay, something's really off here. If I have my best receiver who you're not getting the ball to, and my best quarterback who's getting blasted on the field, they're arguing on the sideline. The eye test should tell you, yeah, shit ain't right and needs to be fixed
Yes.
ASAP. So, but
So
okay.
UCLA coming up with I have a question for you since you're always asking the questions.
Uh-oh.
What do you need to see to make you feel good about this game if Michigan State wins?
Total dominance. All three phases. Like you said, I agree with you in that MSU, if they really want to get that bad taste out of their mouth from Nebraska, from the coin toss, they should just obliterate UCLA from start to finish. Like you said.
When you mean oblit,
Yeah. Yeah. I
when you mean
mean,
obliterate, do you mean just like, all right, it's the complete blowout, or do you mean just dominate the football game, but maybe they end up winning like 24-10? Would you accept that if they just look like the
yeah,
dominant
I'd
team?
accept that. Yeah, I would accept that.
Okay.
24-10, 30-10. Because, at some point, when you're really dominating a game, at some point, even like if it's garbage time, the opponent will score. So I'm fine with that. But to your point, if Michigan State really wants to get back in the win column and get back into grace with the majority of the fan base, because you have those, some of the fan bases like, okay, yeah, they're having a bad time right now, but we still got to give them a chance. This is Jonathan Smith's second year. He still has to get, his players then to here and blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, whatever. You have that, I'll say, small percentage of fans that probably think like that and talk like that. But I believe
Well,
the majority of
that's a
us
reasonable
are
take,
like
though.
us.
That's a reasonable, level-headed take. But that's not us. I'm a fanatic,
No, it's not.
super mad Spartan.
Yeah, that I was saying that, and probably the majority of us are like you. That we're not accepting, even though MSU's 3-2, we're not accepting that because, like you said, the way that these schedules are designed, you can get 6 wins basically in your sleep because 3 of the wins are from non-conference, unless you're like Ohio State and you schedule tough out the gate with like Texas and then whoever else. But if you're a middle tier team to a lower tier team, your schedule is designed for you to get at least 6 wins, and half of them are by the end of September. So, to your point, Super Mad Spartan, if MSU really wants to show some grace, they have UCLA coming across the country, and they should punch him in the mouth from the first snap and say, "Hey, look, we know you guys had your cool win against Penn State, but you're flying into Spartan Stadium. It's a noon game. We're gonna punch you in the damn face from the first snap to the end of the game. Thank you, goodbye." That's what I want to see. Now, if it's like last
I
year
like that.
in Purdue, where Purdue was literally like the worst team in the Big Ten last year, we're on pins and needles. Like, if that happens, then Jonathan Smith should just pack up his bags after the game, go back to the West Coast, and don't come back.
I agree with your assessment of what we need to see as a fan base. It needs to be domination. It needs to look like a well-oiled machine. It needs to look like we are the better team and we deserve to win this game from start to finish.
Right.
No more of the, oh well, yeah, we won. We kind of held on. Like, no. And to your point, I don't think people would be as upset at 3-2 if the team looked different doing it.
Right.
Now, if you go to USC and you're in the nail biter and they come away like, dang, we kind of let that one kind of get away from us. Yeah, it sucks, but the team they fought and looked good. Yes, Nebraska. Now, at the beginning of the year, I would say yeah, 3-2, it looked a certain way, yeah. But then Nebraska game, how it went down, you cannot lose that game. How it unfolded. So that is that's where the fan base is at. And UCLA, I'm not trying to bag on them, but they've been the worst. They've lost to like just all the teams you can lose to, you know, lower division schools, FCS schools, like getting dominated. So they have their 1 week reprieve. They beat Penn State. Kudos to them. That UCLA beating Penn State is bigger than any game John Smith has even thought about winning at Michigan State so far.
Right. Right.
So we need to see a team come out, an angry Spartan team, and just put it on UCLA.
Yes.
We're the better
Yeah.
team.
Right. Your favorite line is put
And
them in the dirt.
even if the score isn't, yeah, put them in the dirt. Even if the score is not like crazy, like it's like 45-10 or 20, like it needs to be. There's no doubt State's winning this game. Like it's never in doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
I would like to see the offense switch up from this run heavy stuff because they can't run the ball. I mean, how many times we have to say this in the last like decade about maybe we should throw to set up the run? It's a foreign concept at Michigan State. Like you have the receivers, unleash them. Our 12 personnel don't work. We can't block it up all the way.
All right. We chopped it up enough about MSU versus UCLA. Now let's get into our Big Ten talk. And we're going to switch it up here a little bit here because for the past few weeks, we pointed out all the top teams, the ranked teams in the Big Ten, until recently, the Penn States of the world and Ohio States and Oregons and Indianas and Illinois and that nasty sign-stealing team down the road in Michigan. But we figured we're going to switch it up here a little bit. And this is going to be a tough conversation because we're going to talk about the lower half of the Big Ten teams, those teams that you rarely have ever see hyped up on, ESPN and Fox Sports and, all the other podcasts and other talk shows, talking heads, because outside of the local markets and the Big Ten network, you really don't hear about the Purdue's of the world and the Northwesterns and the Rutgers, you know, Maryland per se, and now us, to now us a little bit. So we're gonna try something
Not a
different
little bit.
here.
We're
Yeah, we're
you,
there.
you laugh at some of these teams, but guess what? They've made bowl games the last 5 years, most of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But so we're gonna talk about those teams. We're gonna give some love to the lower half of the Big Ten. So
not lower half, like the lower like quarter,
lower quarter, lower third, lower fourth, whatever you want to call it. So
the lowest.
the lowest of the lows, whatever, what have you. So let's see what we can muster up here, broski. Talking about these lower half teams, lower quarter teams, however you want to say it. So in my list of these lower tier teams, and I'm just gonna say right now for all of those fan bases, no disrespect, Michigan State's right there with you, but as they say, it is what it
We
is.
are there. We're peers.
It is what it is.
We're peers.
So talk about Purdue, Northwestern, Rutgers, us. If you want to throw in Maryland, because let's face it, they look like high, national championship contenders in September, but come November, they're looking like us or worse. So, Wisconsin, they're going through a pretty slippery slope right now. Luke Fickell, since he's been the coach, his so-called air raid offense, definitely not raiding anything in the air except for L's. And he's been there about 4 years now. So I don't know. He
I
might
think it's
be
his
air
fourth
raiding
season.
himself.
Yes,
He might
that
be
was
air
supposed to
raiding
be our head
himself out
coach.
of right. He might be air raiding himself out of Madison. So yeah, tough sledding for this peer group here. So, and I was doing a little bit of research on some of these teams as far as when was the last time these teams like won the Big Ten. For example, now this was shocking to me, Brian. This was really shocking. Purdue. You know when the last time they won the Big Ten in football? Just take a
It gotta be
wild
Drew
guess.
Brees at the earliest,
Take a wild guess.
like 2000.
No. Now I will say
I don't
with
know the
with
exact.
when they had Drew Brees, I don't know if they won the Big Ten outright or maybe shared it. I mean, probably that was the most successful, time they had was probably when Drew Brees was the quarterback, and that was about a quarter century ago, if not a little longer. So
And then
unless,
a few years ago, didn't Purdue end up in the Big Ten championship because the that's when you had East and West, and the West was just so god awful that Purdue ended up like getting
yeah,
sacrificed to Michigan in the Big Ten championship game.
yeah, yeah, it was a slugfest back in the East West conference
8-4,
days.
7-5
Yeah,
in a
they
Big
got
Ten
yeah,
championship game.
that division just beat up on each other, and Purdue just lucked up and got in there, and that was the height of their football within the past, I'll say, decade. But now, unless
Hey,
unless Google is lying to me, just take a wild guess at when they last won the Big Ten
oh,
outright.
Nathan,
I'll give you a hint. This was before our parents were born, bro.
1946.
Close. 1943.
Ah,
Like I said, now unless Google is lying to me, it said
World War II.
1943 was the last time they won the Big Ten outright. We're talking back in World War II.
Well, hey, Big Ten is tough for some teams. Most teams. I'm, it's funny. I don't want to. I can't talk junk. A lot of these teams, like we're there, like we're here.
Yeah, we
So
are.
that's
We are.
yeah,
So the last time Northwestern won the Big Ten was in 1995, outright. 1995. So
outright.
so
Okay, so I know they had some success with the Pacific Fitzgerald a little bit, and they feel like they came close. I don't know. I These are traditional Big Ten powers, and so it's hard to even remember like in a lifetime. Like I'm sure it happened, but you know,
yeah, I was still in college when Northwestern won the Big Ten title. So yeah, we're talking about 30 years for them. Wisconsin, the last time they won was a little more recent, um, 2011 and 2012. That was when we had our classic battles with them back in the D'Antonio era. So a little more recent for them compared to those schools. Of course, Rutgers, they never won the Big Ten since they've joined. Maryland's never won it since they've joined. And we know, MSU, the D'Antonio era. So that was last time they pretty much won the Big Ten.
decade ago.
So yeah, this gives you a frame of reference there with these specific schools. So a question for you, Super Mad Spartan. Out of these schools that I named, uh, who do you think will get out of the basement the quickest out of these schools?
Out of the basement?
Yes. I mean,
Uh,
just just wild guess.
if I had to choose between those schools and who would get out first, um,
And let me just define the basement. I'll
I
just
would
say
lean.
maybe we'll just start by just making a bowl game. How about that?
Who will make a bowl game first?
Out of those,
I mean, these schools. All right, uh, all right. So some of these teams have made have made bowl games like the last few years. So that's what I was saying. But if we were to say who has the biggest chance to go to the next level out of these
yeah, that's a
teams,
that's a better question.
oh,
Who
boy,
moved from who moved from the bottom of the basement to middle tier?
mid
Yeah,
tier.
we're talking about
If I had to guess,
the Iowas, the Minnesotas. I guess that peer level.
I would probably say other people we're talking about probably Maryland.
Okay.
Because one thing is weird about Maryland is they've been recruiting fairly okay, and they have talent in most positions. Just I don't know if they something about September Maryland hits different when it turns to October and they turn into a pumpkin. Like last week, they bring in Washington. Look at the score. They was up like 20-0. You look back, they've lost that game like
Yeah.
24-0, 24-20. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's
Typical.
disconcerting. But I believe they're starting a true freshman quarterback, and he's looked good as heard. I haven't watched Maryland very much. But so if I had to choose a team to ascend from the bottom to the middle, I would look at uh, Maryland because Wisconsin at Fickle has not worked. It's not working. I know he has a large buyout, so we're kind of in the same boat as Wisconsin. Fickle's been there longer than Smith, and they have
Nothing to show
just
for it.
been just yeah. Uh, so traditionally I would say Wisconsin would have the best one, but I think right now because Fickle's still going to be there probably a couple more years. Maryland, but then I don't know how Maryland if they get impatient with their head coach.
Yeah,
You know,
Mike Loxley.
kind of just treading water.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess if you'll talk about who's more likely to stay in the basement, it's I'd have to go with Northwestern and Purdue
So it's a tie.
as a tie. Yeah, because out of all the teams, they like we just mentioned, they are consistently at the lower tier. Like we've seen Rutgers go, 8-4, 9-3. We've seen them be better under Shiano than they were previously. They're not Butgers anymore. Like you have to show up and play them. It's not a give me win. Purdue has been down bad. They got rid of their head coach last year, I believe.
Yeah, they
So they have a
did.
new coach. It's this first year.
I
Northwestern a
think their
couple years ago
previous
they got rid of Patrick Fitzgerald. I think this is
no, I was gonna say I think Purdue's prior head coach, I think he's a off or defensive coordinator. I don't know if it's in the Big Ten or maybe elsewhere, but I remember seeing him on the sideline. I can't remember what game it was. I just remember that they mentioned his name. So, but yeah, tough sledding for the Boilermakers.
and I think one thing these high schools have in common, at least now, and even in Michigan State, as much as we hear about our NIL, it doesn't seem to be in order. Like always hear mixed things. You hear, oh, it's okay. They have enough money for this. They're gonna make sure Jonathan Smith has the funds to go out there and get the players. And so we do that in the first half of the first transfer portal area. They go defense, they get the offensive linemen, they get the receivers. Okay. Second half, I know it's hard to get defensive linemen, but okay, we didn't seem to go all in on it. And that's a choice that we can criticize now because defense hasn't looked that great. And so NIL, it 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 can ascend your program if you're willing to invest in it, but if you're not, it's going to sink you.
Right.
And uh, my fear for Michigan State that we just become a feeder school. Like, hey, we get a guy diamond in the rough, kind of develop him, but we can't really do nothing with him, so he ends up going somewhere else.
Right.
We're a school that's going to get poached, and that's the feeling I have coming up next season. If this goes off the rails, I don't even blame the young man. Like, go get paid, go win, put your body on the line for an ungrateful fan base and losing. At least you can put your body on the line if go get paid doing it and a fan base that you can, you can win.
Right.
So yeah,
Sincerely, Keon Coleman, his
what are your
last year.
thoughts about it? And nobody, and this is gonna be, there'll be no bad blood if that happens with certain players on this team.
Not at all.
Keon Coleman is still much like that Michigan State.
Oh
Like
yeah,
everybody understood. Like, okay, yeah, well, yeah,
and he's balling
them's the
too.
breaks.
I saw him in the Sunday night game against when the Bills were playing the Patriots. I mean, they lost, which was a surprise. But Keon Coleman's doing his thing out there, getting those passes from Josh Allen.
I have a tangent now that you brought the Patriots. Because bring up the Patriots, first thing I think about is good old Bill Belichick and how it ain't working too well and, and UNC.
Ooh,
And
child, boy,
it's
yeah.
becoming as we living after getting war moved the Bill Belichick era, it becomes more and more apparent he was the problem for the Patriots.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most
Because think about
definitely.
this, even even Mac Jones, the quarterback that they got rid of, they got from they got rid of. He was from Alabama. He got drafted to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of got rid of him. Now they have Drake May. He goes to San Fran. He's the backup for
Purdy.
Brock Purdy. He's been looking pretty good because Brock Purdy's hurt. Okay,
Yeah.
so another check against the boy Bill Belichick, and then they've been getting blasted in North Carolina. Now I know we talk about Michigan State looking bad,
Yeah. They
and
don't
I
look as bad
understand
as
that
North
last season.
Carolina. I will say that. They're not looking
Yes,
as
I
bad as
know
the
last
Tar
season we ended
Heels.
up taking a big L to Rutgers at the end, and we took some big losses to Ohio State, Oregon, but it's Ohio State, Oregon. Rutgers is horrible. You're getting washed by regular teams like Clemson. Just a bad Clemson team came in and completely obliterated them.
Right. And their very first
So
game
shout out to
against
Bill Belichick.
yeah, their very first game of the season. I forgot who they played, but they got destroyed.
I think that I saw a stat. This is their third loss this season by 25 points plus.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that's
it's
24 points. That's four scores,
yeah. 4 scores
three
several years
touchdowns and a field
ago.
goal, average loss. But yeah, so go back to the Big Ten
Yeah,
and our peer group.
yeah,
It's
so
hard to climb out once you're in this group. It takes a special coach in the money, and it just it's hard for programs that's not their like main focus
yeah.
as a university.
Yeah, if I had to choose what team would ascend to the middle tier from the lower team, whoo boy. This is tough. I would I mean I agree with your assessment of Maryland. Um I'm kind of leaning to Rutgers a little bit because
Not a bad
Greg
choice.
Schiano, he's gotten them from 6 wins to 8. I mean, I don't know how Rutgers is doing this year, but I think last year they got to 8 wins. And I think he's been consistent with, 8-4, 7-5s. So that
Rutgers
kind of
is
puts
three
you,
and two, zero
yeah,
and two in the Big Ten.
that kind of puts you like in the lower
Like
part
us.
of that puts you like in the lower part of the middle tier, 7-5, 8-4 consistently. It puts you like a step
Yes.
below, I would say, Iowa and, roll the boat, with Minnesota.
But I think but to your point, Ken, I can agree with that. They're at the top of the bottom.
The best of the worst.
They might be, and that sounds like you're being disrespectful, but no, that's awesome respect because Rutgers was always a guarantee, like, oh, this is gonna be a W.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like, yo, if our team is, we gonna have to play Rutgers. We got to see them. So Yeah, as you can see, they saw us last year and they just rubbed our face all in the mud.
Oh yeah, yeah, they destroyed
No,
us.
they said no bowl game for you, no soup for you, Michigan State. Goodbye.
Right, get out of here. You know, we belong with us in this field. So yeah, I guess I'll lean towards Rutgers from going from the bottom tier to the next level up. You know, that second tier with Minnesota, Iowa. Uh, who else would be? I guess I'll put USC in that middle tier.
Mid tier, oh for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
USC.
They're not bottom of the barrel. They're being that mid tier. We can talk about the top of the mid tier, which would probably be Illinois.
Yeah, I would say that.
Like because Illinois
Indiana.
has been really good.
Yeah,
They stacking. I would. We'll see what. Yeah, I'll put Indiana at that like the top of the almost at the next tier. Maybe even at the Penn State-ish where we
yeah.
thought Penn State would be at.
Ooh, speaking of Penn State, we didn't talk
But I
about
think
Penn State. I mean, now as
was
bad
there
as we've
the fighting
batted
James Franklin.
the as
Yeah,
bad as we're bagging on Michigan State, Penn State, they don't have
listen.
any reputable wins. As you look at their record, because their
Yes.
non-conference was horrendously god awful bad. They played high school teams. Then they took that L to Oregon. Then the train really fell off the tracks when they took that embarrassing loss to UCLA. So what does Penn State have to show right now? Sitting like 3-2,
Even if
0
I
and
know
2 in the Big Ten.
they at the bottom of the Big Ten with us right now in terms of standings, but I'll give them benefit of the doubt because usually the James Franklin he's been winning against the teams he's supposed to win against.
Overall,
Um,
yes.
and people can make fun of that. I've definitely made fun of James Franklin fumbling games away versus Ohio State, Michigan. Like, yeah, for sure.
Even MSU
But I
back
would
in our
trade.
heyday. James Franklin would lose to
That's
like,
the heyday.
yeah,
Well,
I'm just saying he would lose to like
the end of the heyday.
7-5 Michigan State teams.
That is true.
So
That is true.
his record against MSU, of course, back in the D'Antonio era, I know his record against MSU is, I would say, at least 500,
He's like 500.
maybe a little
But
more
you have
since.
to understand where he
So
took Penn State from. Remember, he got there after the sanctions.
yeah,
I think he took over for Bill
yeah,
O'Brien,
he did. He took over Bill
and he's
O'Brien.
ascended that program to his standards. That he's risen the standards at Penn State. Said, hey, we should be up there competing with Ohio State and Oregon and cheating Michigan.
Oh yeah, and
So he's done that for
oh
them.
yeah, yeah. And to his credit, yeah, he definitely deserves credit for that because he has won the Big Ten. Back in the 14 playoff era, he has won the Big Ten once, and he consistently averages about 10 wins. And he did get into the playoff last
9,
year.
10 wins for the last few years.
He got into the playoff last year, and I mean he was maybe 1 or 2 games away from the
They
national
almost went to the
championship.
national championship.
So
They beat I think if they beat Notre Dame, they face Ohio State in the
yeah,
championship, right? Last season.
yep. So
So
yeah,
so I understand they're reeling right now, but yeah, they're in that highest the not the upper echelon of Big Ten football, but they're trying to break through that ceiling. It hasn't happened for them yet.
right.
I would
And do
say
you think it will?
no, I don't. They're
He ain't
I
gonna get
don't know
it
if
done,
they
huh?
haven't found the quarterback. No, they're we talked about their quarterback, Drew Aller. He just has a You know, you never understood a lot of the hype they talked about. Drew Allen, he's one of the best Big
Yeah,
Ten quarterbacks. I'm like,
I never understood that either.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
Like I
either.
remember them having like with Trace McSorley and some other guy. Like, okay, yeah, Trace was a gamer. He was a baller. And he didn't. I didn't see that out of Aller. And we've seen we beat it to death about the turnovers at bad times. But yeah, the big question for the new team on the block there, Indiana, they haven't beaten any other Big Ten upper echelon teams.
No, they haven't. Nope.
They got smacked twice.
Right.
And so we'll see what they look like when they play Oregon this weekend.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be tough sledding.
Be rooting for Oregon. Don't
I
worry.
think that'll be tough sledding. But to Cignetti's credit that he this is only his second year in, so he still has time. Whereas James Franklin, who's been there, what, 12 years now, I think.
Something like that.
I think at some point, if you're not able to get the team, over the hump to the mountain, to the promised land, you might have to start saying, hey, who can get us over the hump?
I understand that, but also they should be careful what they wish for.
Oh yeah, true. I agree.
Because there's two examples in the Big Ten it's happened to. It happened to Nebraska with Bo Pelini.
Yep.
And it happened in Wisconsin. They said, hey, we aimed, and I don't fault them from aiming to be better because you should. But since they made some of those moves, bam, it's never worked.
Mm-hmm.
And Nebraska hasn't got. I don't know the last time Nebraska won 9 games because they get rid of Bo Pelini, they bring in their golden boy Scott Frost, which seems like a great hire. Like, oh man, this is like the dream fit.
Nope.
It didn't work out.
Nope. Oh, Nebraska, would you put them in the middle tier, lower tier?
I would put them in that tier, that peer group with
I don't know.
It's tough.
Would you put it?
Because they have been they've been missing bowl games too. They might
I'll
be
put them in
our
tier. I'll put them in the lower tier.
I think you know what? I think you're right. I was gonna say, I think they're up there with Minnesota and.
No, I can't put them in there with Row the Boat with PJ Fleck.
No, Row the Boat. He's been consistent winning 6, 7 games.
Yeah, sometimes 8.
Yeah, maybe you overlook Nebraska.
For Minnesota standards, he's kind of risen that program.
That's why he's still there.
Because I think
nobody else wants him.
Right. I don't know anyone else that wants to row the boat.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So I'll put Nebraska in that, and then lower tier with us.
There. Yeah, that's a good call. We just kind of overlooked it because
it is, they beat us, and
now they've been down bad too. 5 and 7 seasons, not making the bowl games
ever since they joined the Big Ten. I mean, they haven't won the Big Ten since they've joined the conference, and they've had some, they've been to some bowl games. They averaged early on when they joined the Big Ten. They averaged about 8, 9 wins, every year under Bo Pelini. But ever since they, got rid of him, when they brought in, like you said, Scott Frost and whoever came after Scott Frost, and now this, Matt Rule.
Matt Rule, the coach now.
Right, Matt Rule, who, he's like I said when we were watching that game. I mean, he looks like a dude at the bar who just
Just his coaches.
Yeah, he was like one of those dudes at the
Well,
bar.
supposedly he's
Just
in his third year program is supposed to be the magic year. You know, at Temple, he went from few wins to 10, then at Baylor, same thing.
oh, it ain't happening
So I
not in Nebraska.
still winning games this year.
Yeah, it
No,
ain't
I don't
happening in
see that.
Nebraska. Mm-mm.
Nebraska was trying to get us to take that game from them. We said, nah, y'all can have it.
Mm-mm.
Do y'all a favor.
Right. So yeah, I put Nebraska in our lower tier with us. But a team I'll say in the middle tier that I've got, you mentioned them earlier, is Washington. I put them in that middle tier.
For sure. Firmly in the middle tier.
Yeah, that coach.
Jed Fish got them playing.
Yeah, he does.
They look like that's gonna be a tough out for any team that plays them.
Yeah, I agree.
It would not surprise me if they move up to the next tier right underneath the elites
Mm-hmm.
in like a year or two.
Yeah, they're trending in that
Because I know
direction.
Ohio State beat them in the score. They beat them and the score might not have looked great, but they gave Ohio State all they could handle on the
Mm-hmm.
road. That was a good all right. Ohio State had to play a football game against them, and that's because we're a Spartan podcast. That's what I want to see from Michigan State. Can we step up and look at champion in the eye and say, you know what, you might beat us, but you gonna know you want to fight.
Right. Right.
We haven't seen that in years.
Mm-mm. Nope. I'll say at least since 2021. It's been tough sledding.
And even 2021 it happened. It was fool's gold, but it did happen.
Oh yeah, it did.
And hate just. I'm not even trying to give Mel Tucker no credit because we know what he was in Michigan State, but Jonathan Smith don't have a better win than Mel Tucker right now.
I know. That's what we said on our
And I
Spotty
said last back.
podcast.
Now I know people Mel Tucker sucks. Like you can say he sucks, and yes, we can all agree on that. It didn't work out in Michigan State and it sucked, whatever else. But again, Jonathan Smith don't have a better win on his record right now in 17 games.
Exactly. Like I pointed out, Tucker's beaten Michigan twice, and he beat a very good Northwestern team. Well, actually, he beat Northwestern twice.
That's his first year.
Because his first year he beat him,
and in K9 years.
Yeah, he beat Northwestern in the COVID year when Northwestern was in the top 10, which was interesting back then. But at any rate, yes.
It's COVID weird. But yeah.
So
that's the Big Ten though. Like
so yeah. So there it is. Somehow, some way, we were able to get in the teams that you don't hear about nationally in the Big Ten Conference. Somehow we pulled it out there, broski. So kudos to us. Kudos to Q the WOODSHED. Spreading the love. Now all about the top 10 teams, the top tier teams in the conference. We got in the Rutgers and the Marylands and Purdue's and we gave something that probably those other podcasts and talking heads did not do. You never hear Paul Feinbaum talking about, oh yeah, that Purdue team, and oh yeah, that Nebraska team. Yeah, there's something.
yeah, why should they? Let's be like, let's not do that. I was like, oh well, they're not talking about these teams that feel like underrated. No, they've been traditionally bad. So no, they don't. That's why they don't get talked about when you don't get talked about.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying, we're bucking the trend. That's all. That's what we do here. We buck the trend. So let's get out of here at the usual fun football fact here, bringing it back to the green and white. Now, this one is pretty interesting, I think, Brian. I think this is going to, it's gonna stump you a little bit. I know you're kind of on a winning streak here at the Fun Football Fact, but I think I got a good one here for you. So, you ready?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I think we should come up with some kind of our own Jeopardy theme music for this segment. Maybe to have Mr. 8-Bit, compose our own Jeopardy theme for these fun football fact questions here. So, this one.
Okay.
Who is the all-time leader in tackles for loss for MSU football? Kenny Willekes, Julian Peterson, or Shalik Calhoun? Do 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 do
I'm just gonna
do
go with
do
Julian
do
Peterson.
do 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 do. Is that your final Jeopardy answer there, Broski?
Yes, who is Julian Peterson?
Well, the survey says, and it was a good guess, though. It was a good guess. Actually, he's second on the list. It's Kenny Willekes.
It doesn't surprise me because when you said all three, I was like, man, I feel like Kenny Willekes is a well, everybody. Well, we know as Spartan fans, like, oh yeah, he was our pass rusher in the last few years of the Antonio
Yeah.
era. So it doesn't surprise me. He was a really good
Yes.
player. I think he's still hanging around NFL too.
Oh, he is. That's good to know. Yes.
I think.
He has 51 tackles for loss. And he beat Julian Peterson because he had 49 tackles for loss. And Shalik Calhoun comes in third. And I can't remember. I think Shalik maybe had like in the low 40s, I believe. But yeah, these three are the top three in MSU football history for tackles for loss. But Kenny Willekes is the top dog at 51. So shout out to Kenny Willekes, which I wish.
According to the Google search, he's with the Vikings right now. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So I know I wish we had him on the team now, or if we could have, swabbed his or swabbed his did a swab of his mouth and cloned him.
That should be new NIL. We start cloning our old good players and have them come back.
Oh shit! You know how dominant that would be, like William Golston and Ashley Calhoun and Julian Peterson
In rotation.
Ooh,
Yeah.
God.
One good dream.
They would be murdering offenses. So, all right, we got through another Big Ten talk, MSU preview. Like I said, I knew this would be tough when we talked about it, talking about the lower tier teams, the Big Ten. So we got through it. And we may do it again. Again, it's to shake up things. It's to shake it up. But in the meantime, I'm Ken, the super cool Spartan. My brother Brian, the super mad Spartan. Cue the woodshed. Check us out on our streaming platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, all of the social media. Hit that subscribe button. We love to hear from you guys. It's a quick programming note here. We're going to be coming at you the next couple of weeks with some hot interviews, particularly for the upcoming annual battle of the Paul Bunyan. We're going to do that again. The big interview with former players from MSU and from Michigan. So it's going to be hot. We're going to come with that hot content for you guys. So on that note, go green.
Go white.
We out of here.